Welcome back to No Judge Necessary podcast, where we got the opinions like DC, we're crazy like Gaethje, and we're as high as O'Malley. We're the podcast for fight fans that want to see fists fly and don't want to wait on the judges. I'm your host, Brick, and as always, my cornerman, Nil, and Matty P. How we feeling, boys?
I'm ready to throw hands today.
There's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of scraps, a lot of fights.
I'm just looking at this fight card for the first time, too.
Are you really? Way to come prepared. I appreciate it. All right, but we'll get your true raw takes, and we always talk about it that, like, half the time we do a bunch of research and we're dumber than when we just, like, look at the fight and pick it.
God, man, I got a lot to say. You guys have a lot to say, I already know.
Oh, yeah. But before we get into it, probably wrap up last week a little bit. Had a pretty solid card. Yeah.
It was not bad, not too shabby. I lost some money.
Where do we want to start? Anybody? Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. Hold up. Let's be real. Ignacio Mendez. I mean, final 10 seconds, blood comes through with the all-time spinning kick. I mean, great technique. Everyone's talking about the fact that he threw it to the body a bunch of times beforehand. No.
I mean,
it
does set it up at least, you know.
But that was great technique straight to the dome.
It was nasty, and it's one of those things that you always see people, like, go for some crazy shit in the last, 10 seconds or something, or, like, do some crazy spinning shit, and it never lands. So great to see it actually land there.
And I was going straight ape shit because I had 2 parlays, and that fight not going the distance was in both of them.
Oh, so you were
9
seconds away from poof.
I was already like, all right, this sucks. Like,
it's over. Yeah.
A round ago, I was already over it, and then it happened. I was like, freaking out.
I love it.
I was flipping back and forth between shit on this fight, and I literally hit the last button like 8 seconds before he KO'd him.
It was like, oh, this fight's still on? I thought it was over. Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, it's over.
What else did we have?
William Knight KO Fabio Cherant like that. I don't know if you saw the technique, but this guy just went like that.
Just a check left. Just a quick check.
He didn't even turn his elbow. His arm was straight. He threw it like this, and that was enough to KO somebody.
I mean, that's that real power that we were
his elbow was straight.
Just look at that.
Yeah, right. But we haven't seen that out of him, in his last few fights. Few decisions, few, like, not as impressive performances that we were kind of looking for.
It was just about time.
Exactly. It was about time. Love the Water Buffalo. Love his swag. He's probably
he
not
looks like
ready
he
for
can
the
fight
UFC.
too. I'm not gonna.
I think
Water Buffalo.
I think he needs to go somewhere else first. I think he needs to go back to like
when he was coming in. I thought he had won that exchange actually at first. I was like, does he look like? I don't know. He looked okay. I think he needs.
He rushes. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not saying he never could be here. I think he just needs some more work.
I think he rushed the takedown in his last fight. It led to his downfall. I think he ran in on this one and he got caught by a big dude. So I think he's got to learn some patience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we also had Pantoja and Royval, which was
kind of a banger.
Rat for a second. That was just you knew it was gonna be scrappy like that.
Yeah, just a weird fight, but like
Pantoja looked like he just woke up.
Yeah,
did you see that? He looked like he just woke up. He's like, "What's going on?" His like hair's all crazy. Like, what the hell was happening?
He's like, "Sub, I'm here." But what
good, great sub. I mean, Royval is legit. Even in loss, I like him more and more. Like,
that's the thing. Is like it's one of those that I think I just mentally wanted Royval to win, but like now that Pantoja did, like he's right there.
And he's already twice.
Correct. I was just going to say that. So this is the trilogy. You have to do it.
And even if Moreno wins the trilogy or wins this fight, he still lost the trilogy.
Yeah,
seriously.
Which is wild. But they'll have to run it back for a 5 spot. They'll do a best 3 out of 5. They'll have to.
Yeah, you got to do some crazy shit at that point. I mean, I would love to see him.
Pantoja wins this. Moreno just doesn't get a shot ever. Like, you got shut out 3 times by this guy. Like,
Yeah, it's tough.
You got your number at that case.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'd love to see Pantoja fight Perez in the weightings, but if I'm Pantoja, I just sit and wait.
There ain't no
Sit and wait
waiting.
for
He's
your
fucking
title
next,
shot.
dude.
Yep.
The shit sells. He beat him twice. This guy's the champ. It instantly sells.
Big facts.
He's next. He has to be. I'd be shocked if he's not next.
He probably feels like the champ right now.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Like
I'm sitting right behind it in the rankings, so once you get in the top 5, like you're individual, you probably feel like a champion. You know what I mean? Like if you're that
Especially
level,
when you've beaten the champ twice, and you're right there too.
You telling me he didn't wake up Monday morning and be like, "Fuck that, I'm the champ." Like, come
big
on.
facts. Big
After a
facts.
performance like that,
Decision for Vince Pichel.
yeah,
really
we've had some
nothing there.
decisions. The Austin Lingo fight, the
No,
Ryan
that-
Kelleher fight, and the
we
Vince
do it.
and the Vince Pichel fight. That shit's put me to sleep, fam. They
We
and
knew-
Parker Porter. They absolutely
We
put me to
knew
sleep.
about that shit. We called it. Did you bet on that?
No, but
I
we
just-
did bet on our boy Kakhramonov. We knew that sub was coming.
Yeah,
We knew that.
I did. I lost.
He hit that with
Yeah.
21 seconds to go. He hit that with 21 seconds to go. Crazy. How we saw 2 finishes in the final 30 seconds.
Mhm.
You might not ever see that in a whole calendar year, let alone the same night, dude.
Big facts.
That's just wild odds right there.
I like that. And
And
then
Clay Guida boofed me. That's what lost all my bets right there.
me too.
I mean,
My dog. I mean,
grimy split decision, dude. Like,
yeah, it
It's
was grimy and just like that was I hate to say it. I mean, we shit on the judges, so fuck them. Maybe I don't hate to say it, but like I feel like that was a move, a tap on the shoulder by someone at the UFC or whatever, where it was like it's a better story. Like Clay Guida got so many losses on his record, no one even cares, and like it didn't change me or any of his fans being a fan of Clay Guida. We're just like he got fucked. So, but making Marco Madsen stay 11-0 and have a win against Clay
I thought
Guida.
he lost. I thought he just lost. I actually did think he lost that fight.
Did you?
I don't know where I stand
I'm
on
big
who won the
bias.
fight.
He was getting outstruck and couldn't land very well and getting backed up a lot. He wasn't because he couldn't wrestle, and that's what I should have thought of. Like Clay's good at striking because of his wrestling, basically.
Right.
First. And I didn't
The
think
knees,
about it.
the knees from Madsen in the clinch to me was the difference.
That's fair. He was a little more active. Clay did have a few good combos in there. Like
I don't think
when he let the
anyone
hands
tipped him
go,
off.
he was landing, but
Nobody
he was
tipped
definitely
off
on
the
the back
judge.
foot. I don't know. I just wanted Clay to win. I think
Nobody
that's
tipped
how
off the judge. I think they just suck at their job. There's a complete difference.
That's
I think it's also very hard to watch a fight live through a fucking chain link fence, sitting like 3 feet below, looking up at it, and then having
Yeah,
the
like,
judge
honestly,
no
I don't-
stats, nothing.
I don't understand why
No
we don't
replay.
have. I understand that like
No, they
somewhat
watch it through a screen.
this. I know they
They
watch
watch
on
the
this.
screen that they look at, I guess, like this.
Right. And that's fair, but like, why aren't we giving these dogs stats and like everything we possibly could be giving these guys?
Bro, because
Like,
those stats are unofficial too, like right away. Like, because it's hella
Yeah.
hard to count them straight up, like to even know. And then what the fuck's significant? Like, how are you gonna say one's significant, one's not? They all
Right.
hurt. Like,
yeah, but I think you could, dude. We have to be.
There needs to be a
we
better
gotta be
system.
better. Like the fact that we can track, like, you know, all these like track masters on like golf balls and tennis balls and stuff. Like, we got to be able to at least. I'm with you. Maybe significant strikes and those intricate stats. We can't give those live, but we should be able to say that he's kicked him in the leg 12 times. Like that's. Or these have landed, or they haven't. Like I don't know. There
It
should
should be more of a discrepancy in each round. Instead of winner gets 10, loser gets 9, it should be like out of 100. And
Yeah.
it should be like 100 points to fucking 83. Like, or 86 points to 64. That's how I scored this fight. Like,
right.
it's the
What
system. It's not about the stats. I just think we need more ways. Right now, it's they say it's striking, cage control, aggression, all that
Right.
shit. It's all bullshit, dude. They just view it and pick a winner of the round. There needs to be maybe like max is 4 categories, 25 points in each. You give a point in all those added up, like something like that.
Yeah. That's always tough because, like, I hate when you even get it like that where you're doing categories because if I just whoop your ass in one category, that should be as worth, you know what I mean? Like, then
That's
you
fair.
start like, oh, well, this guy had a better all-around round, so he got more points versus just someone who just,
but it might just be damage, aggression, control.
Right.
Like,
yeah. If you generalize them, I could see some categories working. But this whole, like, well, aggressive cage control, it's like, I don't know. They're too subjective. They're too, subjective for things that are, like, supposed to be, like, a category is subjective. And these, like, what do you think of as aggression? Is that pressing the guy back, or is it more volume? Because there's a lot of people who fight off the back foot. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that they're not aggressive.
So how'd you score the main event then?
Weirdly, I did think Gastelum kind of won. But then again, no, I don't know. But the fight definitely did not go how I thought it would. I did not think Cannonier would be winning a decision. I thought that was the one thing that couldn't happen. I thought either Gastelum was going to finish him a decision or Jared was going to finish him. Those were like the options. I did not see that coming, so definitely lost him out.
I was kind of shocked. Like I thought Cannonier put more damage or was busier on Gastelum, but Gastelum hurt Cannonier in a different kind of way, and that's what made this like teeter-totter fight. I thought it was razor thin, but I'd probably give it to Cannonier. He was busy for 5 rounds.
Yeah, I will say
but
for Cannonier, the thing that did impress me out of him, we didn't really see as much of his like brute power that we've seen in some of his other fights, but I do think he fought a bit more of a reserved, smarter, like champion style of fight. And I got to give some respect there, where you understand when you're in the cage with the top guy. Yeah, he's learned where you can't just rush in. You're not just the baddest dude in the room anymore. You know what I mean? When you get to that top 5, like, I don't care how bad you are, unless you're the, top of the food chain, like all these dudes can get you any night of the week. You know what I mean? Like, you run this fight back 5 times, I think there's 5 different outcomes.
Interesting.
But the one thing I will say with Jerry Cannonier, even though I was impressed, I don't think he got that like virality, like my moment, on a main event, on the poster, like this was my huge moment. I'm slamming down that title door. Like, I think he kind of missed an opportunity in that fact.
Well, speaking of missed opportunities, where the fuck does Gastelum go from here? He's still, like 1-6.
But he's still the name that it's like.
I like Gastelum a lot, and I watched the whole come up, like literally, like
he dropped down to 9.
Can he make 170?
Hell no.
No.
Can he make 205?
No.
So
he's having a problem with the big guys. Like
that's the thing.
Correct.
He's too barrel chested to get to 170, and he's too small to be a 205er. I mean, the thing is, he is still such a big name that he still draws that you can line him up against any of these guys in the back end. Kevin Holland want to fight him?
Almost. What happens if he fights them already?
I mean, fuck, you need a fight. Like, keep fighting these guys. You know what I mean? Like, Uriah Hall, Chris Weidman, Brad Tavares, Kevin Holland, Andre Muniz. Like, it's going to be either the veterans who are also looking for a fight coming off a loss, or it's going to be the young cat that thinks they're the new hot shit. That it's like, all right, let's see if you can, maybe he's kind of rolling.
I'd rather see those fights.
I do think he needs to get his ass down to 170. If I'm being honest, he needs to go plant based or something and switch it up. I don't know
man. He's a thick boy,
bro. It's because he grew up in a Hispanic family. They probably cook hella good Mexican food all the time, and it's like, bro. You can't be eating that. It's too bomb. I know it. I know that's probably it.
Yeah, but that puts that power in that, right?
It probably does, but he already grew up with that. It's still
He's fought at 170 before.
Has
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
He's fought Johnny Hendricks, Neil Magny, Tyron Woodley, Nate Marquardt, Jake Ellenberger. Those are all welterweights.
Oh yeah, he was.
So he's got it. Yeah, he's made it before. I mean, I think that's the best move for him. He needs a new spark in the division. It's like Darren Till.
He needs something to re-motivate him, like it's a renewal, like really just
right. Yeah,
just happened.
Yeah, maybe you take that like 5-6 months and really try to like rebuild your body almost.
Bro, he needs to dip away from his family who's making hella bomb food. That's
I'm with Matty P. Start fasting and go plant-based and fucking get down to 170 and let's start again. This is
go live
on your contract.
I think I don't know if he trains with Tony Ferguson, but I think they're in the same area. They may train together. Like, just go fuck with Tony Ferguson for like 6 months. He'll have you on some weird shit. You guys will be in the
as long as he doesn't melt his brain by the end of that 6 months, he'll be all right.
No, that's good. It's like Tony Ferguson's that good because he can't think about his loss. Like there's too much other.
You need him to melt his brain and start over.
Yeah,
I'm kind of with that actually.
He won't even remember.
I don't entirely hate that. And
Tony Ferguson is the solution to a lot of the problems, I think, for MMA. You just throw Tony Ferguson in the mix. I think he'll solve a lot of the problems.
I
think he also makes a lot of the problems.
Coming off a 4-fight skid that he's on or whatever it is now, I don't know about that. I just think Gastelum needs a second lease on his contract. He needs like a near-death experience, so to speak. Like, hey, this is your last chance. Like when a boss comes in and is like, you're a shit worker, but I'm giving you one more chance. Like,
right.
He's kind of at that point. I think he needs that.
Yeah, Dana might just straight do that. They might put him back on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, I think that's why he needs to go to 170.
But that's what sucks. It's like, because I like Gastelum so much. It's like just like 2 years ago, he was like fighting for the belt.
All right, so have him fight Mike Chiesa at 170. He just lost.
That's a tough fight for him.
That's a hell of an introduction back to 170.
So what's he going to stay at 185 and fight Uriah Hall or Chris Weidman? I mean, come on.
He already fought both. He's fought both of them.
Correct.
Right. Well, I mean, at this point, who hasn't Gastelum fought?
Okay, so that's why he's a bit half draw. Put him at 170 and fight Mike Chiesa and shut up about it. Let's move on.
All right.
I want to snap.
Moving on. It's wrapped up. We're going to talk about the actual fights in the fight previews, but let's do a little Ultimate Fighter review. Matty P, did you finally catch up with us?
Not all the way.
Did you watch any of it? Okay, not all the way. You've watched some.
I watched all the way until I'm so bad. I would watch them before bed, so half the time I'd be like slumped. But I watched until the dude who got picked last. I watched until
Ryan
Battles won, and they got him in like caught him in something. And it was like a big deal because they were like, "Oh, we picked him last, and now he's like about to be like the dopest one."
Okay. Yeah.
That's
Did he catch a bearded guy in a submission?
Yes.
It was like a nasty.
That was against Andre.
And
that was against Andre
Petrovsky. Going to get worked almost maybe by the dude.
Yeah. So Battles fought Andre Petrovsky in a semifinals fight, and Petrovsky, very good wrestler, hella aggressive. Just he didn't have enough cardio to keep that pace for 15 minutes, and he came out fighting like he thought he could. And so he gassed out after dominating the first round. And he tried to do the same in the second round. And when he took half a bit of space, Battles locked up his sub and went for it.
Yeah.
Very
Battles
slick.
is slick.
The thing is, Petrovsky switched off for half a second and Battles stayed locked on. That was the difference. Realistically. For half a second, Petrovsky put his head out, got back into a natural wrestling space and was like, oh, I'm cool here. I'm going to just wrestle. We left his head out. Bam.
Got snapped.
And that's why I like Battles. He's very adaptive.
He's very well-rounded. Like, he's...
Is that the last one, or is there? How much did I miss after that?
So you just missed the semifinals, which would then be Tresean Gore against Gilbert Urbina, which we'll talk about. So Tresean Gore actually won by knockout in the second round. Clean as fuck. And honestly, I think he's going to get a contract anyways. But he tore up a ligament in his knee. so he's out of the finale. Gilbert Urbina, who lost to him, is stepping back in. He's the one.
They just got knocked out.
Yeah, he's the one who had the two brothers who are also on the Ultimate Fighter.
Gotcha.
I guess that kind of he's
giving him another.
They've
given that family like 5 chances.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. They're all tough, but they're not very good. Like, I'm not being a dick, but like
I thought Battles has the ability to mix it up and keep it dirty enough to give Tresean Gore a fight. Gore, in my opinion, was the best prospect on this show. He has lethal striking. His only problem is he tends to get a little flat-footed. So against some of the elite, they could probably pick him apart. But until he makes it to that top 5, I think he's going to thrive striking-wise. We haven't really seen his ground, but I think he's got the biggest ceiling out of any.
That's why I'm kind of upset that he got robbed of this fight, because these two guys are like two perfect like Ultimate Fighter finalists for in my opinion, because Battles to me is the most well-rounded fighter there is here. Like, he's not probably the best at anything, but he's very good at everything, and that's MMA. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to wrestle. He's got some jiu-jitsu. He got the hands. He's got the cardio and the pace and, like, that drive and just, like, that, like, yo, we're going to fucking dog anywhere in the cage for 10, 15, 25 minutes. Like, that's what he's about. And then Tresean Gore, where I think he has a lot of tools that can be sharpened, I think he's got the best tools in the shed. You know what I mean? Like, he's got by far, I think, the best skills. Yeah, and probably the highest ceiling. Like, if he can get with the right coaches, you know.
Like there's some people that there are just some people that do naturally just like that guy just like has some hands.
Yeah.
He probably started off with a little head start in the just fighting scale than most people too.
His religiousness and belief in himself is like unmatched.
Yeah.
He's like very religious, but believes in himself like to a level that I haven't really seen.
Shit where it's or like Charles Dubon,
honestly,
it's like it's
right.
written, like
exactly. Like, it's a destiny type thing. Like, hey, I really respect you, my opponent, your family, your heritage, but I'm going to murder you. And it's just like, wait, where does that, like, connect, you know? And then it connected in the ring, and you're like, okay, this guy's legit.
Honestly, could be a biased take, but I'm not a fan of Brian Ortega after watching The Ultimate Fighter. I was kind of a fan of him going in, but this cat seems like he shows up late to half the practices. He talked a hell of a amount of shit when he was 4-0, then kind of tucked his tail when it turned back 4-4 all of a sudden. So I'm just not a fan of him. I don't like his coaching. I think, we're coming up, champ. We're getting up, champ. We're turning the corner. We're getting up, champ. Elbows, knees.
Elbow the shin. Elbow the shin. Elbow the shin.
This
like,
guy
what are we doing?
That one.
Yeah, he screamed elbow the shin, and then this guy got fucking
choked out immediately. Like, even it was so funny because then they cut to Volk, and he's like,
what?
He was like, I don't know, I heard him saying elbow the shin, like maybe hit it once to try to loosen him up or something, but that gave his neck right up. Like, we were pumped. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, I don't know what this guy was doing coaching wise. Like, and even the whole, like, I think he did.
You do a good Volk accent.
I think you like my Volk.
Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like Ortega did care.
Butter him up.
Yeah. Butter him up, mate. We're right where we want him. We got him right where we want him. Right there. Hey, let's go, mate. But with Ortega, like, I feel like he did care, which is a big thing for me. That's why I did like this Ultimate Fighter season. First off, I like when the coaches make it about the prospects, not just that. Like, you're a big fighter. You'll have your time. You'll have your moments throughout the season. But I hate when it's just the coach show, you know, and it takes away from the coaching, you know? Yeah. And
like
sometimes
when McGregor's in there, like, I don't even remember who the fuck was in that. Like,
yeah, and McGregor was actually
that was my favorite season. He was
I know, but
he was a good coach.
People in there because it was just the McGregor versus fucking Uriah show. Like, it was that. It was
right. And then you remember Cody.
That was it. Skateboarder.
Yeah.
And you remember Cody because he called out McGregor, and that was
Yeah.
it. But yeah, so I do think Ortega cared, but the thing that like kind of threw me off with it was there was something about it that he was like it felt like that kid that like thought he was really cool and like really wants to hang out with the boys, but like tries a little too hard with it. Like, you know, it felt like he was always like coming through the house and stuff. And like, that's cool as hell. Like, you should chill with the guys. Like, they want to be around you. They want to pick your brain. But it seemed like Volk would like, he'd come in, he'd like make a meal, and then he'd be like, all right, boys, let's be out. Ortega seemed like he was just like, all right, guys, what do you want to do next? And everyone's just kind of like chilling. Like, you want to play a board game or something? Like, I don't know. I just got a weird vibe from Ortega.
The vibe I got from Ortega was that he thinks he beat Volk because Volk tested positive for COVID. I think he walks around in his head thinking he's already beaten this guy.
Like on some Nate Diaz shit.
Like, he thinks he's already beaten fucking Volk, and he acts like he's defending his belt against him.
Well, what
like, that's what I don't like.
The good part, like when the pranks happen with the snakes and shit, like
I like the pranks.
That's when I'm like, that's when I actually think they're more being realistically like themselves, probably. Like, because they were just joking around. It was more funny. Like they I don't think there's any real bad blood between them. I think it was all kind of fake. It looked like.
But that's where it seemed like
Ortega acts like he's a champ. I don't fuck with that.
That's the thing is where I don't think there's major bad blood, but it seemed like Volk kept it real and straight the entire show, no matter what was going on through the whole thing. Like, he kept his shit tight, and he talked his shit, he said his shit, and Ortega was very like, when things are going good, I'm good, but when things are going bad, I'm very quiet and kind of shy and like, oh,
who would have been better instead of Ortega in there in that division? Max would have been good.
Max would have been hilarious. That would have just been a clown show because they would have been. That would have sucked because they would have been best friends by the end of the episode. By the end of the thing, they'd just be like having beers, like doing shoeies.
No, maybe not. Not if they did it now when it was like he's down 0-2 to him. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Because now there'd be more bad.
I mean, it's tough because you can't give him that shot yet, but Cal Cater would have been hilarious in there.
Fuck that noise. He can't be doing it. If he's doing the Return of the Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, no. It doesn't make sense. I was purely thinking entertainment and like realistically, no one really else in that division makes sense. Like, you're not gonna have Yair. Korean Zombie doesn't make sense.
I'm pumped for the fight though. It's made Ortega Volk. Like, I'm amped for that fight. I love that Volk shaved his head. Makes me think he's kind of worried about the subs. He's going to get all sweaty and slip out of one and fucking piece him up. And that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I think, and I'm actually kind of happy that he did this Ultimate Fighter thing because I do think, in the same way Max did a little bit, I think Max and Volk, and I think it happens sometimes when you get in these massive big money trilogy sagas, is I think your focus kind of deviates from the big picture, you know, because you're so focused on that one opponent. You know what I mean? Like, he was so focused on Max and all the noise that came with that and the win and everyone saying the decisions this way, that, this, that, the other. I think this was good for Volk, like coming out of COVID, come to the U.S., be away from all the bullshit for 6 weeks, help out some kids, which Volk is the kind of guy he loves. Like,
that was
all those.
And he had Craig Jones with him and some boys.
Yeah.
Like, that was fun for him.
Oh, I mean,
that moment when
Craig
Brady
Bags
called
and
home,
Frankie was the funniest thing.
When Brady Heastan calls home, dude, and he's like, yo, he calls his brother, and his brother's like, you get to roll with Craig Jones? And he's like, yeah, every day, dude. And he's like,
and his brother's
sick,
like, bro, that's so sick. Like, what?
That shit's hilarious. All right, what else we got on the Ultimate Fighter? Any cool moments? Any other good fights? Brady Heastan taking on Turcois in the other final fight.
Yeah, I think we'll just get into that in pre-fight.
I guess. Sure. I thought those two guys were solid throughout the season.
Yeah, really cool to see Michael Chiesa come in and help out with Brady Heastan. You know, he has that connection and, like, just cool. I mean, I always just, like, there's something about, like, when they're doing the Ultimate Fighter, that it is sort of like a minor league of fights, and like obviously it's not a team sport, but anytime you can kind of see like the present or like the old generation bringing on the new, like, and to see those like kids be like, bro, I got to like roll with Chiesa, like that's nuts, you know. And I think it also brings back the perspective for some of these fighters that get in the UFC and just like, you know, it's just the grind. They never really like smell the roses. They never realize like how big of a star, how big of an athlete they actually are and what they mean to like the next generation of fans and fighters and all that. So I love when they get these kind of opportunities to like, you know, work with them and like have some fun too. But
yeah, no, I agree.
Anything else on the Ultimate Fighter?
Nah.
Before we talk about self-proclaimed Ultimate Fighter?
Sure.
Mr. Jake Paul taking on Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to talk about it.
100%.
Woodley was looking nice. Woodley was looking nice on the pads.
No, he's not.
Yo, I'm kind of with Matty P. I'm sort of buying in on some of the Woodley hype.
Let me hear what Matty P said. Keep going.
No, I mean, I just saw it. He was looking in good shape. You know, he didn't come out like Askren, just come out all fat and shit, just coming to collect some dough. I mean, Woodley is in good shape probably all the time anyways, but he still is looking good. Like, he definitely looks like prime Woodley for a UFC fight.
Mm-hmm.
His hands look real nice. He's in good shape. I don't know. Woodley, yeah, he's been, you know, he rocked Luque last fight, and that was like not even that long ago. It was like 6 months ago. He just fought Luque. You know, it's not been out the game.
That's the thing. If you go through and really pick through and actually watch all those fights, not just be like, yo, bro's on a 4-fight losing streak. Like, he's landed some serious punches on some serious fighters in that 4-fight losing streak.
It's different range.
I think this is just, it's absolutely a different range. I think it's going to be interesting how, in a boxing match, how he's going to close that distance. That's what I'm very curious about.
I'm leaning for the younger, faster, bigger fighter. I think he's going to sleep him in the third round.
I don't think Jake Paul's faster than Woodley.
I do.
We'll see, but I don't know.
I think Woodley's got more one-punch power. I think Jake Paul's going to be quicker in the punch.
Does too. But I don't know. I think he's probably faster.
First thing that came to mind when I heard this fight was Woodley's going to come out too aggressive and fucking be wild and get caught. KO'd. This is going to be the one fight. Everyone's like,
has he ever been hit?
I don't care. I think this is the one fight where everyone said Tyron Woodley's been gun shy for 4 fights.
Are you getting paid?
No, I'm not. I just think
I want to check.
When I think he will lose, I will tell you. I'm just saying. I think he's going to win this fight.
You fully have switched. You're going for him over. You want him to win over Woodley.
No, I think he's going to beat Woodley. Like I was saying, for the last 4 fights, everyone said Woodley was gun shy, and he just sits there and he looks shy and he doesn't do anything.
No,
I think this fight.
He threw down.
Okay, and look, how did that work out for him? He has no confidence in himself.
He's going to rush out.
He's going to rush out.
He got subbed. You don't get subbed in boxing.
Doesn't matter. It's the same idea. He's going to rush out and be too aggressive and get caught. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to think nothing of this fucking YouTuber and rush right at him, throw everything he has. This cat's going to be half an athlete, dodge some punches, hit him with the counter, and sleep Tyron Woodley. That's the first thing that came in my brain when I heard this fight. I'm not riding Jake Paul, nothing.
No, the first thing I saw with this was...
You have a Jake Paul criticism.
I do not. And I will
it's
stand on that.
I mean, if you're on the payroll, like, I don't hate it. Jake
I'm not on the payroll. I think he's
going
to KO him. That's all I think. I will. I'm gladly put you on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm gladly for sale, Jake Paul. Like, I'll promote the shit out of you. I don't give a damn. I'm definitely for sale. But does it have anything, does it interest you that the odds are minus 190 for Jake Paul?
Oh, I'm putting money on Woodley. I'm going to watch this with pure fucking I'm just going to be betting against Jake Paul his whole career.
You're just going to be that guy
for a while.
You're going to be the Max Kellerman of Jake Paul. Just This guy's gonna fall off a cliff. I'm telling you.
Unless let me think. Woodley, I'll definitely bet against him. I didn't bet against him with ice cream because I was like, that's scary.
Right.
I didn't, and I don't even know who he fought before that. Oh, Nate Roberts. Yeah,
Nate
I didn't even watch that fight. So didn't watch that one. Didn't care. Didn't bet on the ice cream one because it scared me when I saw him come out looking like a fucking seal. He looked like an idiot. He literally looked like an idiot coming out, and I'm like, oh no. Because at first I was like, oh, he should, he's done enough striking. He should be able to kind of hang in there.
Like he's an Olympic athlete. Like he should know how to at least like prepare for a fight, regardless.
Yeah,
but.
and then he comes out looking like that, and I'm like, oh no. But Woodley, come on. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not counting. See, that's what's crazy that like you're so confident. Vegas is so confident because I'm in the fact of like I'm not counting Jake Paul out of this fight, but I think Tyron Woodley is absolutely the favorite.
I think the experience level is just about the same. This guy's never professionally boxed. This guy's got three boxing fights. He's been training boxing, 5 years, just boxing. This guy's been training MMA, a decade? I think it's dead even on experience, to be honest, or way closer than everyone wants to put it. Sure, he's got more high-level, fights and big-time things and this and that, and he's gone through the grit and had to dig it out. I get all that aspect. That's a different animal.
That's what I'm curious with. Which
he's just been a lifetime athlete, though. Like he's literally.
Does Jake Paul have that? That's the question we need to find out. Does Jake Paul have grit? Does he have any fucking? When he takes a punch, can he come back? That's what we. That's what I'm saying.
This is his first fight. Like this is the first time he's gonna be in a fight. Like even if he can get his hands on Woodley, like I don't even think Woodley's been put out, but I don't think Jake Paul's gonna probably have one punch knockout type thing.
You said that against Ben Askren.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Well,
honestly, Ben Askren.
His last 3 fights, or 3 of his last 4 fights, Usman, Colby, and Gilbert, all nasty on the ground.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, that's a huge threat when you're striking with somebody.
Yeah, when everyone was like, oh, he's gun shy, it's like, yeah, he didn't want to get taken down.
That's a huge part of it.
When he was going on, people forget, when he was going on his run as the champ, that's what he was doing. He was standing and banging and knocking dudes out. I know it's not a boxing fight, but those were his best matches when dudes would come toe-to-toe with him.
And then see a visual of Tyron just going stiff, hitting the mat, dude. I swear.
I could see, but
Russian
Woodley's right hand is so nasty, though. If Woodley cracks him with that right hand, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think even
I'm intrigued though.
I'm curious about what's his first reaction to a Woodley right hand to the ribs? He hasn't taken a real body shot from a real fighter. I mean, I know he's been training with top guys, whatever, but in a real fight, adrenaline pumping, he hasn't taken a real shot from a real fighter.
That person's trying to end you with that shot.
Right. Trying to rip your liver straight out your rib cage.
Damn.
I don't know.
What the liver is?
That's, I don't know, somewhere up in there. Bro, I don't know. Mine can't be anything.
I got Jake Paul in this fight. Let's move on.
Fuck, I'm mad.
Now, last thing on that, though, I am pumped about the alternate broadcast with Big Cat, Portnoy, and Helwani. That's going to be a hilarious. Who is even going to watch? Why would you watch the regular Showtime?
I don't even know if it's an alternate broadcast. I think it's just cutting to them in between fights, on the gambling perspective. And
okay. They're on the day.
Yeah. Because I don't think Showtime would want to split their views. Right, they're all pay-per-view. They want to get one fucking bam.
Yeah, that makes sense. But either way, getting them involved for something like this, it's going to be – because that's the perfect level of, they're going to take it seriously, but also comedy. You know what I mean? It's not just going to be –
And you have enough with, Ariel, who, is just naturally –
Right. When they just did, the Snoop and random rappers and just, random people.
It can get messy.
That know nothing about fighting or gambling or anything. They're going to come prepared and they're going to have, opinions on it. Now, they'll make a few jokes. They'll, they'll work some stuff in. It'll be entertainment, but like they take it serious. That's the best thing. But anything else before we hop right into this card?
No.
We're already 40 minutes deep in, and we got a deep card for this. So let's get after it. Let's see here.
All right, first fight.
Fight night.
We got Guido Canetti out of Argentina, 8-5, taking on Mano Martinez, 8-2 in the bantamweight division. The prelims just smells like an episode of the Jersey Shore.
I was just gonna say the first three fights are just the cast of the Jersey Shore. Mano Martinez, Guido Canetti, Jamal Emmers, Pat Sabatini, JJ Aldrich, and Vanessa Demopoulos. Like, that's literally like, Vanessa D, like Patty Sabatini, like, I don't know what's going on, but literally that's all I could think about. Me and Nil were talking about it before the show. Like, that's all I could think about when I was doing research for the first three fights. But
that's all you can think of.
Pretty much.
So
but I mean, let's go through it. Let's get into it.
What does that mean? Let's get into it.
I think you want just my take. Martinez is a lock in the first fight. I'm out on Eddie.
Yeah, I think this first fight's not going the distance. It's my trend, and these are the guys to do it. Guido Canetti gets finished. That's his plan. So, like, I'm taking.
Guido's gonna prove you wrong, bro. Guido's gonna knock him out in the first round,
and that's why I'm taking inside the distance, not betting wise, not fucking
Fight
Mano Martinez. But for just picking a guy right here, right now, Mano Martinez.
Yeah.
But let's be
real.
I
mean, Vegas is all over our take, so maybe we're actually smart for once, which means we're probably going to be wrong. Mano Martinez minus 286 favorite, and not to go the distance, minus 225.
Guido inside the distance.
Guido inside the distance. Guido by finish is plus 525.
Go.
That fight's
trying to get juicy on the first fight. Oh, Jesus.
All right, second fight of the night, we got Pat Sabatini, 14-3 out of the USA, taking on Jamal Emmers, 18-5, also out of the USA. This is a very interesting fight because Pat Sabatini sort of been around, fought a lot of people. Jamal Emmers had a very close fight with Giga Chikadze, who we'll talk about later. And he's coming off a win. He rebounded off that loss. So this is a very interesting fight to me.
Yo, Maddie,
see how it plays out.
You can probably tell me this because I think your brain kind of works the same way as mine in this. Why do I feel like Jamal Emmers been around?
Yeah. I just had to look. I was like, why have I seen this? How many fights this guy have? I'm like,
I think he's got like 2 UFC fights. Like,
I feel the same way about Sabatini, but he's only had 1.
Huh. Yeah, these feel like 2 veterans of the game
really
that just showed up, apparently. This is interesting.
Well, I got Emmers all day in this one.
Yeah, no, I like Emmers. I wasn't that impressed with Sabatini and just...
He beat Tristan Conley pretty easily.
Yeah, I don't know
if that means anything to
I don't know why it just... Pat Sabatini sounds like the fucking assistant manager on a fucking episode of Bar Rescue. Like, he's just a piece of shit.
Jersey Shore.
Well, yeah, no, of course. Like, he was on the Jersey Shore, but then, seasons later, he bartends at the shore. Like, that's his actual job. You know what I mean? But then he luckily got cast for the Jersey Shore.
And now he's fighting.
The fight.
Oh, I'm all in on Emmers.
Oh, God.
Minus 159 on Emmers. That's right in the sweet spot of a favorite. That actually is a parlay I kind of like to kick off the night. The first fight, not to go the distance, and Jamal Emmers. Because that's how you can make that minus 225 actually have a little juice. Let's see here.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to play with my food on this one. I might just bet big on Emmers. Because every time I try to do that, I just lose on that little thing.
Bro, I'm not touching this fight with the fucking steel pole. This shit going the distance is going to be a fucking snoozer, dude. Let's be real, dude.
That's fair.
I'm not touching this fight for shit.
I mean, I'm taking my early prelims.
Hey, I still think Emmers will win.
That's fair.
I actually really like that. I like that early prelims parlay plus 136 on the Barstool Sportsbook. Jamal Emmer's money line and the first fight not to go the distance. That's simple. I like that. What do we got?
We got JJ Aldrich in the female 125 division, 9-4, taking on Vanessa Demopoulos, 6-3. What do we got on this fight? JJ Aldrich sounds like a band from like the 70s that just made bangers, bro. Like just straight R&B, just that JJ Aldrich's new album slaps. Like
JJ Aldrich is an NBA player for sure. Like
yeah, also a two guard that's just white boy who's just wet.
Oh yeah.
That can only shoot threes.
Yeah, she has to be winning this fight. I don't even know that.
With a name like that.
Yeah, I don't know much about Demopoulos. Let's see here.
Aldrich has been in the UFC a while.
So this is her debut. Yeah. She lost to Corey McKenna on the Contender Series, and then lost to Lupiti Godinez in LFA, and then won one fight in LFA, and now she's back in the UFC. Too soon. But let's see what we got.
And they give her. Damn.
Yeah. JJ is a minus 400 favorite. No.
Aldrich was supposed to fight Tracy Cortez.
That makes a lot more sense, and that probably would have been a banger.
Yeah. JJ Aldrich, Tracy Cortez, that's the fight.
Yeah.
Someone who's been around for a while against someone who's emerging. Yeah. Now all of a sudden that fell out, you're giving her Demopoulos.
I'm all in on the Tracy Cortez hype train.
I'm not, because she's with Ortega now.
Oh, she is?
And the two of them ain't gonna win shit because of that. Like,
no,
the love stories in MMA don't work out.
Next stop, yeah, I'm pulling the thing on the bus. I'm getting off the bus from pushing the button. Sorry.
Betting on Volk.
Big betting on Volk.
I think JJ Aldrich all day in this fight. Next fight, I think this is the people's fight of the night. Dustin Jacoby, 14-5-1 out of the USA. In the light heavyweight division, taking on Darren the Dentist Stewart, 12-7 out of England. I think this is gonna be an absolute fucking scrap.
I think Dustin Jacoby's gonna put the beating on him, to be honest.
Really?
That's kind of how I'm feeling, but
it's still gonna be a scrap though. I don't see it happening like that. It's gonna happen over the course.
It's gonna be the best scrap of the night. I don't think. I think that Kevin Lee D-Rod fight.
That's why I said the people's. This is going to be that fucking fight of the night B. That 1A fight of the night. You know what I'm saying? There's always
the unexpected.
Yeah.
The unexpected banger of the night.
Exactly.
Right? I feel that. I can see that. I think it's going to be a scrap. As a fan, I am excited for this because I do think, kind of like Neil said, it's going to be exciting. As a gambler, this absolutely terrifies me. You know those fighters, you can't put your finger on them? It's Darren the Dentist Stewart for me. No way. Any way I bet him, I just can't win. I bet on him.
You're just not going to touch it?
No, so you know how you got to bet this fight? This fight will not complete two. This fight will not complete 2 rounds.
This fight will go to.
No, it will not complete 2 rounds.
Ended in the third.
I think this is going to be 7 minutes of action, and someone's going to sleep at about 7.5 minutes into this fight.
I actually love that.
And by going to sleep, I mean getting a couple shots to the dome, ripped to the body, leaned up against the cage. They sit down and shrivel up. Bam. That's how this fight's going to end.
Under 2.5 rounds is plus 120. I don't hate that.
I like it ending. I think it can end in the third. I think Jacoby finishes strong. I think.
I just think the first round and a half is going to be chaos, and then it's like it's anyone's fight for like 40 seconds to like finish it almost. As weird as that sounds.
I don't hate that. Plus 120. Excuse me.
All right, well, while you're sneezing, we'll sneeze into the next fight. We got the sneeze back up
your
here.
Boy.
So,
Your boy.
My boy. Smiling Sam Alvey. 33-15. Wouldn't be smiling if I had that record. In the 185-pound division, taking on Wellington Thurman, 16-5 out of Brazil. Fellas, what do we got? Oh, boy.
Fuck Sam Alvey.
That's what we got.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if Wellington Thurman can fight, but he certainly sounds like a running back that played in the NFL in the 90s. That's like a Hall of Famer.
He sounds like what you would get at like a fancy dinner. You'd order.
Wow. Let me
Wellington Thurman. Or it's either a fancy in what I kind of think it's on the same fancy menu, but it's a very like expensive, weird like whiskey cocktail. It's a take on an old fashioned, you know. It's a Wellington Thurman, like it's not quite a John Collins, but yeah I think this 92. Yeah, I think this 92 running back from played for the Raiders. John Madden gave him 38 carries a game.
But can he fight? That's the question. Can this cat fight? Fuck all this other shit. He sounds like this. He sounds like that.
He keeps getting knocked out in the first round.
He does do that.
Is this really his recent run of form? Is just getting pieced in round?
I mean, against Andre Sanchez.
Yikes! It really
Bruno
is,
Silva.
dude. Oh my lord!
But
he's taking on Smiling Sam.
Never, ever will bet on Sam Alvey. So we're going to bet on the running back. We're going to grind this out. We're going to take it 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We're going to get this dub.
I told you that 2021.
The kid's only 25. He's coming back.
I told you in 2021.
Just coming off the rookie deal.
Separate the fighter from the fight. Sam Alvey's going to win this fight. And
Shut your mouth.
Dude, he's going to
shut your goddamn mouth. Not in this house.
Sam Alvey will knock this cat out.
End it. Just end the pod.
Yeah.
All right, end the pod.
Delete the YouTube.
Right.
I am disgusted.
I'm sorry.
I am disgusted. Next fight.
Okay. So now if Sam loses, you definitely have to get it.
Oh, yeah. Now this is the fight. If Sam Alvey loses, you got to get a Smiling Sam Alvey tattoo.
I never agreed to this. It's just been forced upon me. Like, what? If I try to force a tattoo upon y'all, you're like, no. This is not how it works.
No, because we did it first.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll get it and then get it covered up.
Next fight.
I don't even know. Someone else talk, dude. Fuck y'all.
We got Alessio Di Chirico, 13-5, taking on Abdul Razak Al Hassan, 10-4. This is a sneaky good fight. I think this could be one of those fights that I think ends up on the ground, but is exciting. Like, isn't a snoozer on the ground, but it's like high-level chain wrestling. You know?
I think the Troop Show is probably gonna. Yeah.
I want to see Razak use more of his judo. Like, I know he's used it some, but I feel like he's trying to become too much of a striker, and it's kind of cost him a little bit. And I like the guy. I've actually met him at UFC Boston. He was cool as fuck. Talked to him for like 40 seconds. So yeah, I root for the guy, but it's like, I don't know. At some point, like, I feel like he tries to stand and bang because he's got some.
But that's kind of why I think we're gonna get this weird chain wrestling match for these two, because I think both of these guys came from different wrestling backgrounds, but a wrestling background. And then as they've grown into the UFC, they've tried to really develop their hands. It's worked in some fights, it hasn't in others. And then I could see these two dudes just like two bears just going at it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I got Razak all day.
I got Alessio, I think.
Really? I just think Razak's too high skilled. I think he's got more ways to finish it. I think he can handle him in the wrestling, and I think he's got more power.
The first round, the Chirico's winning. That's how I feel. Like I don't see.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
I can see it really the first round guy. This is, for me, it's probably a walkout fight. Like how I'm feeling.
Ask your dog. What are the odds?
What Alessio just did to Buckley.
True. A similar kind of fighter.
Right.
So maybe this isn't an ask your dog kind of fight.
He busted him
one-sided.
So, I mean, Di Chirico's minus 240.
Oh, Lord.
Plus 188 for Razak. So
that
was bigger than I thought. I thought that Di Chirico would be a favorite. I thought it'd be more around like 150, 175, honestly. But that makes me almost lean back to Razak. Like, why not? Or maybe Razak inside the distance. Like, he's got some power. Like, you're going to get the extra juice there. Like, I don't know.
I think I'm gonna make a lot of money this week.
Yes,
That's scary. I think I'm going to make none.
yeah.
And another fight that I have no idea about. We got Gerald Mearshart, 32-14, taking on Mahmoud Muradov, 25-6 in the men's 185 division. Fellas, what are opening belt thoughts?
Mahmoud,
I think this is a watch.
Smoking.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolute watching.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a better fight than it's supposed to be. The odds have it probably horrible because this Max Flood dude has been defeated. He's been whooping everybody. So
yeah, I can see Gerald kind of hanging in there for a bit. Good 7-8 minutes. That this is so close.
Hang in with wrestling maybe. But yeah, Mahmoud should win. I'm not touching this fight. The odds aren't worth it probably.
No disrespect to Mearshart, but is he just a guy that gets highlight KO'd?
No, I think he's just been around, just kind of and
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, just
no, he's been around for a while. That first time I've seen him been KO'd in the first round like that I can remember was that
Kamzat.
Yeah, Kamzat fight.
I mean, Mahmoud is on an absolute tear. It's in random promotions, but since he showed up at the UFC, he's had 2 finishes and a decision, and he's on a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Muradov is, but you can't. Minus 590. This is so big, you can't touch this.
He's on a 14-fight winning streak throughout.
This smells like a nasty upset, dude.
That's kind of why I was like, "Yo, it's not so fast."
Yeah, look at this. Because he should definitely win. But Mearshart can wrestle. He out wrestled Darren Wynn, and he's wrestled some good motherfuckers. So, and Mahmoud got it to the ground. He was not doing as good as I thought he should be against Sanchez last fight. So, who knows? Maybe. In the size thing is
sprinkle.
Mahmoud's huge for that division, and Mearshart's actually a pretty good size for the division too. So
yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that Mearshart just smells like a cat with 15 losses, but plus 400, I wouldn't hate a little sprinkle, especially if I hit something before. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, there's something on Mearshart.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Next fight,
we got Andre Petroski, 5-1, taking on Michael Gilmore, 6-3 in the 185 division. These guys are both from the Ultimate Fighter. Petroski lost to Brian Battles, who we'll get into later. Michael Gilmore took a fight on 2 days' notice for someone that got hurt and lost. So this is his chance back. Also, another story of him. Yeah, Gilmore also quit his job and moved to Vegas and just started training and got noticed. What?
Dude's about to lose again.
Probably. I think Petroski is an elite level wrestler and is gonna mollywop this guy.
Yeah.
But the question is, can Petroski do this long enough to finish the fight?
That's
because if Petroski starts to wear, then anyone worn out is vulnerable in the UFC.
That's what I was curious with, because Petroski, and obviously the Ultimate Fighter, it's just a weird, it's a weird camp, it's a weird fight prep, everything's weird. So you can't buy too much into what you saw there. But he started to struggle in a second round, and he started to wear. So now getting on a short notice fight, getting this shot, is he going to do the same thing where just adrenaline, he looks great for 3 minutes and then kind of fades? This is the big time, bro. You got to be ready for 15 minutes. And maybe with a little extended camp out of the Ultimate Fighter, he's a little in better shape and more prepared for that. But that scares me on Petroski. But stylistically, he should just absolutely wrestle him.
Yeah.
And he's a minus 560 favorite.
So we're not touching
that. We're not touching that.
All right.
Next fight.
We got Kevin Lee, 18-6 out of the USA, 170 men's division, taking on Daniel Rodriguez, 15-2, also out of the USA. This fight
sucks. I want both fighters to win.
I was like, wait a second, you threw me so far off because I was almost gonna like introduce it to like, yo, Matty P, kick us off because I know you're excited for this fight because I know you fuck with both these guys. Yeah, and you just like, this fight sucks, and I'm like, wait, what? Like,
yeah, no, I like both these guys a lot. Like, I really want both of them to be contenders, and this is what sucks about the UFC. Like, you can't like now I got to pick.
We'll go cross paths.
I think I want Lee to be a contender again because I think Lee is a really athletic, good wrestler, good all around fighter. I think he's a good matchup for a lot of the division. But then D-Rod's just coming up so hot, and I want to see him keep rising. But I think Lee should be able to get it done.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. I do like both of these fighters. I think Kevin Lee needs this now. And I think that little extra hunger, little extra experience might be enough for him. But D-Rod is on an absolute meteor right now. And I think this could almost be a loss that helps D-Rod. If he kept, you know what I mean? Like, I could see him catching an L here, but like learning a lot from it, being like, okay, I was like, sometimes those, stars that are, the hottest burn the quickest, and it's like, if you don't learn a lesson along the way, sometimes you're not going to really get to that championship level.
Yeah, and where I think Kevin Lee's going to lose a lot is the ground, and I think he has the ground advantage here. So his striking is going to be happy. He's going to be okay. He's not worried. He like with Oliveira had to be tripping. He got caught in that. He went for a takedown, got caught. That's how he fucking lost. So I think he's going to be able to mix in his wrestling. We'll see how D-Rod handles that wrestling, and then it's only 3 rounds too. So Kevin Lee's used to fighting like 5.
Right.
Or,
he might be a little
cap
more.
on Kevin Lee. I don't think he's that nice. Something about him, I just don't think he's as good as advertised. I think D-Rod's going to have too much power for this fight.
Yeah,
that's to walk him down.
That is the thing. That is the thing that's good. That is kind of
D-Rod had power and just pressure walking him down.
Every time I doubt D-Rod, it comes and bites me in the ass. That's the only thing that really.
What are the odds?
Kevin Lee's -150, D-Rod +120. So it's pretty close. Pretty much.
I love D-Rod.
That's Vegas. I think that's literally Vegas put it out as a pick 'em, and then there's probably just more Kevin Lee fans, so the money's pouring in early on Kevin Lee, So he's getting the slight.
I wish the odds were reversed. I would hammer D-Rod.
Wouldn't you rather get the juice?
No.
Yeah.
I like the slight favorites.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
If you like the fight, you like the fight.
But if you think the guy's going to win,
you're an idiot. The slight favorites win more than they don't. So that's why I can just keep going.
You can get more.
Yeah, you get more money. Wait, I don't want it. I want less money.
All right, but we got the championship for the Ultimate Fighter. The next fight, the 135 contract is on the line. Ricky Tercios 10-2, taking on teammate Brady Highstand 5-1. What do we got in this fight? We got anything, fellas?
I'm kind of similar to how Matty P was. I don't have the same deep love for these guys, but these were 2 of my favorite guys on the Ultimate Fighter. Like, not even as their fight styles, but just like as guys. Like, Ricky Tercios, just this weird cat. Volk loved him. He's just like, he's fucking pretty Ricky. He's fucking Ricky. He's a weirdo, but in the best possible way for him at MMA, where he's just ready to scrap any position, and he's a lot better of a fighter than I thought he was going to be. And Brady Haystad, he's got a ton of talent. He's very green. You can tell, he's 21, 22. He's very young. But he's trained with some high-level guys. He's worked with Chikadze. You can tell that, the base foundations of what needs to be there are there.
He's a very aggressive wrestler, and I think that's going to be his advantage in this fight. Remember when Charles Oliveira fought Tony Ferguson, and they started grappling, and Oliveira stayed more to the basics, when Ferguson got wild.
Right.
That's how I think this fight is going to plan out. Now, obviously, these guys aren't Oliveira and Ferguson.
No, but that actually
they're
I
gonna get
like
to the
that
mat.
comparison.
And
Wait, which one's the guy that had his whole family up in here? Or is that not in this one? That's
That's the next fight. That's Gilbert Urbinas.
yeah,
Ricky Tercios was like the long-haired.
I think it's going to hit the floor, and
crazy
Brady
guy.
Highstand's going to keep it more clinical, more technique on the ground,
Yeah.
and Tercios is going to get too wild, a la
And just
Oliveira
make it-
Ferguson,
make it
and that's going to be the difference.
Yeah.
And Highstand's going to swallow him. That's what he does. He takes you down and uses that to like.
Yeah,
He's a dollar store Khabib. He's a dollar store Khabib. Very early dollar store Khabib. He's a green banana version of Khabib. Not quite red.
Very interesting. Ricky Tercios, or I guess not that crazy, but Tercios is coming in at minus
Or Ricky Simon, if
167.
you will.
Yeah, right. Tercios coming in at minus 167 favorite and a plus 135 for Brady Highstead. So I think that's just probably the more experienced fighter. You know,
I'm rocking
Tercios
with
is
the
at
firefighter,
11.
Brady Highstand.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning Highstand. What's your take?
Also,
like Ricky's.
I was gonna say, yeah, Highstand, take that juice. That's what I would.
He also took out a lot of dudes who had mad experience on the show. The
Right.
first guy he fought, Rittenhouse, was like 18-3 or some shit. It's like,
Right.
damn. Then he took out another guy with a lot of experience. I don't think Tercios is really good. Like, yeah, he's going to get a little wild, but I think if he keeps it clean, technique-wise, he's going to roll in this fight.
It's another one. I'm with you. I'm leaning Brady, but the only thing that scared me is like Tercios. When I first saw him early in the season and even in his first fight, I didn't think he was that good, and then he kept just like rolling and winning and getting better. So that always scares me. How it's like, especially with the Ultimate Fighter, where obviously you see the entire fight, but I think you just sometimes get a different perspective on certain guys, just like how they tell the story, how they show the fight camp, like, and it could be subconscious, you know, you're not even thinking about it, but it's like, oh, I like that guy, you know, and I liked Ricky, but I liked him as like, oh, he's just kind of this weird guy, whatever, he's not that good, and then he kept winning, so it does scare me to bet against him, but I think I'm going to take the juice. And then next fight, the other Ultimate Fighter. This is the welterweights, right?
185ers. Brian Battle taking on Gilbert Urbina. Battle is 5-1. Urbina is 6-1. Battle's last pick. I think Battle's very well-rounded, kind of crazy style. I think he's going to be way too much for Urbina. And I think Urbina's best ability is the ground.
Urbina's the dude who's been there with his family like 18 times.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the O'Doyles of the fucking fighter.
O'Doyle rules. Rules. Yeah.
They've got a family member in every grade.
Urbina rules. You know what, Urbina?
I got a feeling your whole family's going down. And that's what I'm saying right now. I got Battle.
I'm all in on Battle. I think this
and I'm
cat
gonna parlay
is legit.
I'm gonna parlay Battle and fucking Brady.
I actually like that idea. Let's see what that would pay out.
But it scared me how all in you guys are in battles. That like Urbina, like he's written off. The family hasn't done shit in the Ultimate Fighter. Like he already lost. He's coming back. Like something about me wants to throw money on that.
Extra pressure, your last chance for your whole family, all riding on your back. No thanks.
No. And you didn't even earn the shot. Like you got in because of an injury.
That's why everyone's counting him out, and that's why he's gonna fucking come through.
No, you can't switch the script. The Battles is the one who was the one counted out.
Yeah, he was the last pick. He got all the
momentum.
You can't just switch
He's got all the momentum right now. He beat the 1 seed. He took all the juice.
Battles was the one counted out.
No, you guys are tripping. If you're the one counted out and you take out the 1 seed, you then gain all that juice. What do you fucking mean, dude?
Yeah.
And now Battles is the guy with the juice, and everyone's like, he's gonna walk Urbina. Urbina is counted out.
Yeah, because he stinks.
No, because he got gifted. Dana White privileged a shot.
Yeah, he got.
Oh my god! And that's
His
why
brother got gifted a
that's
shot.
why it's intriguing.
His brother got
And you
gifted
guys
a
are like,
shot.
nah,
He
fuck
got
you,
gifted a
fuck
shot.
you.
How many
I'm done
shots
with
do
this
they
shit.
fucking need?
No, he's probably paying him to take a dive.
I don't want to hear from y'all. Let's go on to the
What I do want to hear from before we go on. Plus 276 on our parlay there for Brady and
Ooh, I
Ryan
like
Battle.
that.
That is
It's not a
juicy.
bad parlay, honestly.
I actually like that.
Juicy.
But like, fuck you guys for your thoughts on that shit.
Throw a dub on that.
Real talk.
All right, but let's get in it. We got a lit main event. Edson
Big main
Barbosa,
event. I love
22
when they do
9
this.
out
Like,
of Brazil, taking on Giga Chikadze,
Strikers,
13-2 out of Georgia. Yeah, absolute strikers delight. These cats can throw it down. Barbosa, lightning quick. We've seen him plenty of times with the switch kick. This cat's as fast as it gets. And really, there's no setup to it. It's just wham, right in the face. Don't know where it came from. But again, Chikadze on a roll. So it's like, where do you put this fight?
you want to know what I'm really worried about this fight is my cardio. No, I'm really concerned about my cardio
The fuck is
because
your cardio
after
with this?
two Ultimate Fighter finale fights that are going to be wicked intense, to have this high energy of a fight, like, I don't think I'm going to be able to last 15 minutes. Like, I might be at, like, second round. That's what I'm saying. I think I might be at, like second round K, like, take under 2.5 rounds on brick, like, donezo. Because this fight is just going to be action, like, nonstop.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's either gonna be a good one or some bullshit's gonna happen. Like I always have to say at some point.
You realize we're at the end of the podcast and you haven't called for an injury, and I
and it's such a good fight that there's always some bullshit that happens on some good fights. So I have.
It's gonna end be a dick kick.
No, but and whenever I say this, it doesn't happen. So that's why I say it. I'm trying to get the good out.
Right,
So,
gets a bad juju off.
It's gonna end
if
fucking
the fight
straight
goes
to the nuts.
accordingly, if the fight goes accordingly, I think Edson should do his thing. He's looking nice of late. He's feeling rejuvenated after getting more money in his account, and he feels like he's getting paid and he's getting what he's worth. I think Giga
I don't know. I think
Giga's nice, but he looks like hella small or something. I don't know. Barbosa's fought everybody. He has trouble against wrestlers. Giga's not gonna wrestle him.
No, it's gonna be the battle. It's gonna be the battle of the leg kicks.
Yeah,
I think whose leg kicks are faster and have more.
I think Barbosa's gonna put him to sleep pretty nastily. I think some. Yeah, like I really do. I think it's gonna be a nice battle of leg kicks, just like how Gaethje Barbosa was. And then Barbosa's just gonna throw something where it's like, oh, and then we're gonna be like, is Barbosa?
I kind of agree. I think
is Barbosa in the title discussion soon? And that's the discussion.
Why? It sucks because like,
mic drop, bam.
My head's fucked on this fight because if you went off the nil theory of the first 5 seconds you heard this fight, who's gonna win? I thought Giga. I just thought he'd be a little more of like, it's going to be a similar output, but I think he's going to have more volume. I could see a world where Barbosa is more precise and accurate.
I think he's more powerful. I think
Edson Barbosa going to come through and show that there's levels to this shit. That's what I think. That's what I would say. There's levels to this shit, homeboy. I lost to 9 fucking borderline Hall of Famers. Like, I'm still here. That's what I think this fight is. It's not so fast for Giga. He's 13-2. Yeah, sure, he's won a lot in a row. Looked great. Not so fast. This is his first fucking playoff game.
First main event.
Yeah, first playoff game, dude. And you're asking, can he win? Sure, but I don't think he's going.
But I don't know. Weirdly, like, Giga just kind of seems like that, like, Eastern European, like, where like pressure doesn't really like get to him as much. You know what I mean? Like the bright lights, he's just kind of like, dude, like I had way bigger problems like back in.
But I don't think it's the lights. I think he'll be fine. I think he's going to show up and ball. I just think there's levels.
Yeah.
And Edson Barbosa is a higher level.
That's fair. Very interesting odds. Minus 118 on Edson Barbosa, minus 105 for Giga. Very close. I thought it was even me think that's kind of weird because like even me who kind of thinks Giga has a pretty good chance. I thought Edson would at least be like minus 150 just purely off the experience. But it's always the experience versus the hype.
Giga undefeated in the UFC?
I believe so. I think
he's on a serious run right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, he got Edson Barbosa in a main event not by accident. Like, that doesn't just happen.
Yeah, they don't grow on trees.
Real talk.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone's gonna go off of that of your last fight, but they both have had a nasty good last fight. So look at
he murdered
facts. Let's face facts. Barbosa murdered fucking Burgos, which is a lot higher of a feat than Giga murdering Swanson.
Yeah, I will agree with you guys on the levels to this shit. He hasn't seen anything. Like, Cub Swanson ate Edson Barbosa. Cub Swanson might be in the gym,
Burgos,
as everyone says. Like,
all right, who would win between Burgos?
Yeah, Burgos Chikadze. Yeah, Burgos Chikadze is the fight. I'm kind of with Matty P on this one, but this is kind of the fight.
I'd take Giga.
And I think Burgos is right up in there, but I think
I could see that it's like
there's levels to this shit.
Yeah, I can see it.
You know them way there. There's fucking levels, but
bro, Barbosa, he won't do us wrong, man. He's already fought some dogs in this division, so I think he's right there.
Bro.
Yeah, I think the problem is he was the kind of guy that, like, when he got to the top, I was betting against him. And it's just, I haven't been able to. And he lost to, obviously, like, champions. But, like, because he lost, because I won bets on him, I'm like, nah, he's kind of washed.
Bro, since 2014, this is who Edson Barbosa has fought. Bobby Green, Michael Johnson, Paul Felder, Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis, Gilbert Melendez, Benil Dariush, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Kevin Lee, Dan Hooker, Justin Gaethje, Paul Felder, Dan Ige, Makwan Amir Khani, and Shane Burgos. All since 2014. That is a Hall of Fame career.
No real big names, you're telling me.
No,
like, I didn't even know any of those guys.
There was no McGregor in there.
Was Giga
where's McGregor? He was ducking McGregor. Benson was ducking McGregor is all I heard on that list.
That would have been a great fight, though, at 45.
That would have been such a good fight at 45.
Then he fought Cowboy in 2014, Evan Dunham, Danny Castillo, Terry Edom, Ross Pearson.
Yeah, I mean,
these cats literally fought everyone.
Giga's been calling for that chance, and this is his chance to show it. So I could absolutely see it being a little too early, but
big too early. I'm out. What do we got?
I got nothing else. Much love. We got.